Alright, so today I'm going to be doing another KBFIT 2.0 critiques. This exercise is actually one of my favorite exercises. I haven't done this exercise in a very long time. Well, I did it recently, like within the last couple of weeks, but it's an exercise I used to do a lot more often. And so because I've been doing more kettlebell workouts during my functional days, I haven't been doing this exercise as much. But if any of you guys remember from probably like a year ago, I told you guys my favorite exercise is Renegade rows. One of my favorite exercises, I'm not too sure why, it works out your core. A lot of times when people see this exercise, they think it's a back workout, and yes, it does work out your back, but it's not necessarily considered a back workout. It's more for your core. Somewhat of an anti-rotational exercise, but it's definitely for your core. And if you guys know me and how I like to train, you guys know that I love to do core workouts. Especially because of my scoliosis and because I have an uneven balance in my core, obviously, because of a lot of curvature. Exercises like these are my favorites. So with that being said, this exercise I did do about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't done this exercise in a while before this one. The last time I did this exercise, I've been doing around 50 pounds with Renegade rows, which is pretty heavy. I got to a point where doing 50 pounds wasn't too challenging, but because I haven't done this exercise in a while, as you'll see, it was a lot more challenging than it had been in the past. Now when it comes to the form with Renegade rows, or any exercise where you're going to be in a high plank position, you want to always make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders. You don't want your arms like out here. You want them to be right underneath your shoulders. Obviously, you want to make sure your core is tight, your butt isn't up in the air. You want that flat-ish back, not really flat back, but because we have natural curves in our back, but a tight core. And I always suggest when you're doing anything like Renegade rows, you want to keep your feet at least hip width apart, if not wider. Now when you're just starting out with Renegade rows, I like to tell my clients and other people, if you want to help with your stability a little bit until you get stronger in the core, keep your feet wide. I'd rather have your feet wide as a bigger base for the Renegades versus having your feet narrow and then your butt's up in the air, because you're going to put more pressure on your shoulders that way. So as you'll see, because I'm lifting heavy, my feet are a little bit wider. I kept my feet about shoulder width apart, when before I was able to do these with a little bit more narrow feet, because I knew it'd been a long time and I knew that it was going to be a struggle for me. So with that being said, when it comes to my form on this one, I won't say it was terrible, but you always want to make sure that with every movement you make, you want to make sure you're nice and controlled both on the concentric and the eccentric. And I will admit that my form wasn't the best, especially with the eccentric, controlling the weight back down, instead of just dropping the weight and having it just flap to the ground. I struggled with that one. But anyways, before I get into all the details of my form on this one, I'm just going to start the video so we can see what I'm talking about. Alright, now this particular day I only did 2 sets of this exercise, so we'll only be looking at 2 sets of this Renegade rows. Alright, and action. Alright, you see me trying to set up. Alright, I always take a long time to mentally prepare for some reason. Alright. Ooh, see how I'm a little bit shaky? My foot came off the ground a little bit. I feel like when I'm rowing, also you want to make sure your hands are going more towards your waist and not right up towards your chest. So that part I'm doing correctly in terms of where I'm placing the dumbbells. But my shoulders a little bit there. That was pretty fast. I didn't count how many reps that was, probably like 6 or something. My shoulders started to raise towards the end. I feel like I kept my posture correct in terms of having the nice plank form, but I feel like I did those lift a little bit too fast, obviously, because it was pretty heavy. It was hard for me to keep good form, but it wasn't terrible. But as you did notice, that one rep, I think it was rep number 2 or 3, where it looks like I think it was my left leg, my left foot raised up off the ground because I lost stability there. So that's something to also work on. As usual, you already know I always look at my workouts in between each set, so I know I looked at it and I probably was like, man, that looks really sloppy. And so I tried to improve. So let's see if I improved with set 2. We'll see. Alright, and action. Alright, keeping my feet a little bit wider this time, trying to mentally prepare because I know it's going to be heavy. See, I try to go a lot. I noticed already I'm trying to go a little bit slower, but My left side, I kind of still drop it down a little bit too fast. My right side is okay. My left side is dropping down a little bit too fast. I'm keeping my feet planted this time, but y'all just see my feet are a lot wider this time than the last time. Yeah. Wasn't terrible, wasn't terrible. So there was a slight improvement between set 1 and set 2. I will say you can clearly see which side is, or I don't know if it's clear, but to me it's clear which side is my weaker side. And like I said, I did go pretty heavy. 50 pounds is pretty heavy to do Renegade rows with, I will admit. I probably should have gone lighter, but you know, I wanted to, I guess for me it was more of a test to see how much strength I had lost, if any, since I hadn't done these in a while. I think I did fairly decent for not have doing these in a long time. The fact that I was even able to do them at all, I was actually surprised. I feel like if I had had time to do a third set, I would have, you know, tried to do it even better. So going forward, I am going to try to do this exercise more often, including in my upper body days versus waiting for my functional days, since those have turned into kettlebell days, because it is one of my favorite exercises to do, that one along with the bird dog row, which I did do on this day as well. So maybe I'll do another video on that one in the future. But with that being said, I would grade myself, I think I grade myself a B a lot. I would grade myself probably a solid B for this exercise. But yeah, hopefully that was beneficial once again and slightly entertaining. And so until the next time, I will see you guys in the next video.